Dave and Lucy have been in business for a long time. They have a great business and a great team. After years of hard work, they wanted to increase their property portfolio with their dream home. But being self-employed, they found their bank's lending criteria very restrictive. They saw Toowoomba's Edge Lending, the business lending experts. Edge Lending thinks outside the box and were able to secure a facility for Dave and Lucy to purchase the property. Edge Lending, making business lending easier.
Hey everyone, Scott from Edge Specialist Advice Network. Hope you're all well. Hey, today we're doing another installment of What the Numbers Say, and as usual, we're using Visual Capitalist for some of their great graphs they do. And we're looking at global mining companies by capitalization rate, like by size. Now, this is pretty good, and I like these numbers because it's breaking them down into regions. So we've got Asia Pacific up here, and we've got the Americas, Europe is in green, and a little bit of the Middle East. Now, what I think is pretty cool is looking at who's the biggest miners, right? Because I mean, mining is everything. You can't produce anything in the world for all of the humans that want stuff, and that's anything. It all comes from mining, and it's not just energy. It's all the little minerals and metals and rare earths and things that go into making all of our modern gadgets that we all demand, and we all demand very cheap too, by the way, for what it actually costs. Look at the big dog BHP. Look, Australia definitely punches above its weight in actual having mining companies, and not just in like coal, iron ore and stuff, but also in precious metals, so gold and silver too. So, I mean, if there's one thing, and I've said this before, that Australia is we are just a mining colony. We're run like a company. We don't have a constitution. We run like a company, realistically. Most of our law is company law. We don't have any common law really, and the biggest companies that run out of our country are mining companies. So we're really a mining colony owned by a variety of mining companies. That's okay. We can, as long as we understand what it is, we can work with it, right? So this is the Asia Pacific. Look, China's got a couple of big miners as well. So we're not just the big dog on the Asian corner. But there's a lot here though. So as we start getting into the Americas, we can see a lot of the gold. Barrick and Wheaton, Agnico Eagle, Cameco. So you got uranium. Vale, actually like Vale out of Brazil. Copper and iron ore. Glencore, another big in Europe. Okay, Anglo American. Some of the big guys there. So I mean, you will know some of these names, and what happens is when you go back through a commodity boom, which we are heading into a commodity boom. So this decade is, and we've been saying this for the last 2 years at least, we're saying, hey, inflation is built into the next decade, maybe 20 years, and commodities are the things that will just, in times of inflation, that continually rise, especially if you also get production booms. You can have it at the same time. So it's not always supply and demand. You get production boom as well. And so when money flows back into commodities, it's the big guys that get all the money first. And you go, well, Scott, would that be right? Why is that? Well, the way that stock exchanges are made up and the way exchange-traded funds work when someone buys an ETF, the ETF is made up by the weightings of the size of the company. So why we're looking at this is because you know that the biggest guys are going to be on in the first exchange-traded funds. So if you had a mining ETF, BHP has to be there and has to be a large part of that ETF because it's the biggest. Doesn't matter if it's the most profitable. It could be making a loss. It doesn't matter. So when everyone goes, oh, geez, there's some financial advisors going, with all their clients, or fund managers go, we're rotating back into mining. They often buy an exchange traded fund because they get a big broad spread, and they don't have to sit there and go, oh, do I have to read all these mining reports? And I'll just buy the exchange traded fund. I should be okay. It's the sector that drives the returns. Now there is some truth in that. Asset allocation really drives about 90% of returns. So what that often means is the big guys get all the money just because they're the biggest. And that's the way the exchange-traded funds work. Often, you can also pick some of the mid-tiers. The mid-tiers are probably where the better value is. But these are all just the big guys. Look, Southern Copper, huge copper miner out of America. Grupo Mexico, another one as well. I'm trying to find if we've got any. We've got Middle East and Africa. All right, let's have a little bit of a look here. These ones are hard to actually see. I wonder if we can. What do we got there? No, I'm trying to see if I could see any of the platinum miners. Platinum is going to be the outlier for the precious metals at the moment. Platinum is too cheap comparatively to gold on a historical basis. Don't race out and buy platinum. Do some more research than that, but I'm just sort of giving you a bit of a hint there. So perhaps platinum miners might be one of those dark horse plays that you can play as well. Freeport, McMoran, copper and gold. Good company, well run, good balance sheet. Anyway, guys, look, these are some of the things that it's interesting to see who the big dogs are on the block. And when you do buy exchange traded funds, knowing that you're going to get the big guys, and when it's a rotation en masse, the big guys get the money first, and that's the way, because mostly fund managers roll into exchange traded funds. It means they don't have to individually pick little stocks. It's easy to pick a sector, and so a lot of retail clients would do that as well. And look, we're not averse to using exchange traded fund to get an exposure to a sector, so you can see some of these names. So anyway, look, guys, I thought it'd be interesting just to revisit some of the big mining names, because we are going back into a commodity boom. So soft commodities first, but we are going to go back into commodity boom, and it'll be interesting to see who some of the big names that some of your money might be going and be invested in. All right, that's enough for me. Remember, life is a family sport. Give yours an edge. See ya.
Sue and Craig have equity in their home, plus some savings in the bank. They decided to buy a second property as a tenanted investment. They got advice from Toowoomba's Edge Lending, because Edge Lending are the experts in borrowing to buy investment property.